Your sauce will mix with ours and we'll make a good goulash, baby. Hello, welcome to Guides the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week we are investigating the D, Tenacious D.
Flying free tenaciously.
Yes, that's right.
Skinny dipping in a sea of D.
Will has been going on a Tenacious D journey recently, reacquainting himself with the catalog. Mm-hmm. I did that, I think, last summer.
For seemingly no reason. Mine was spurred on by, like, I've been seeing Jack Black everywhere.
Yeah, because of Mario.
Because of Mario. He was in the Mario movie. He cameoed on The Mandalorian.
Oh, right.
Just like he was popping up in my feed constantly.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to Tenacious D a lot.
Yeah.
But hadn't for years.
Yep.
And so I was saying to you, like, I think I'm experiencing a Jack Black-assance, like a little renaissance. And I think I might check out Tenacious D, and I don't know how it's aged or anything. And you were like, oh, I did that last year.
Yeah.
Which, like, spurred by what?
Ryan put on the Pick of Destiny. That's all it was.
Okay.
He was, like, looking for things on, like, you know, HBO Max or whatever. It was just cruising the comedy movies.
Yeah.
And put on the Pick of Destiny, and that was all that it took.
Okay. Yeah. I have now... I have to say, like, there are some times where we've done shows where I'm like, man, I've watched a lot of stuff for this, right?
Yeah.
Like when we did the Scream TV series, I would watch an entire we both did, obviously, but watch an entire season of a show just to do one episode.
Yeah.
I think I did more.
I saw you tweet about how you did a ton of research for this.
I think I've watched every single Tenacious D release.
Incredible.
That has been made to date.
You're the exact right person to be doing this episode then, this deep dive into the D.
I get the deep dive into the D.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this? One, because we're hooked on it at the moment.
Yeah, we felt like it.
But also it's this like rock lore notion. Like one of the big jokes of Tenacious D is that it's all about like metal being, you know, demonic and Satan being involved in rock and roll.
Right. So that's where it kind of crosses paths with Guide to the Unknown subject matter.
Yeah.
Subject matter.
It's an excuse. It's a folkloric, jokey excuse. But there is admittedly a ton of stuff in the Tenacious D, like, you know, backstory about them encountering Sasquatch or them running into the devil and fighting Satan. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about all of that stuff. It's almost like when we did our Seinfeld episode. Yeah. And it's like, it's a great show. And here are the things of it that happen to dip a toe into Guide to the Unknown realms. Yeah. We'll talk about those things.
Yes, exactly. So I am going to talk about a little bit of the Tenacious D origins and their first album, self-titled, from 2001. And then Will is going to take us through the Pick of Destiny. Yep. And I guess some other stuff.
Yeah, as much stuff as you can stomach, frankly.
Yeah,
right. Can we start classic Guide to the Unknown?
Of course.
What's your history with Tenacious D?
You know, I remember the Wonderboy video coming on MTV. I think it was like it debuted on TRL or something. And I was like, I don't understand what this is.
Yes.
Basically. Because it's not quite jokey enough to totally understand that this is like a comedic band. Mm-hmm. It was just sort of weird. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what this is and I'm not interested. This seems strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty much. And then the video for Tribute came out right after that. And I was like, oh, this is funny and I get this.
Yes.
And then I decided that I liked them and like got the album. I remember I listened to the self-titled album like a million bajillion times at like my friend's house. Like it was such a thing.
I think we were around the exact right age.
Yeah.
For Tenacious D. Mm-hmm. It was what, 2000, 2001?
2001.
All right. So I'm 15, you're 18.
Yep.
We are in a great sweet spot for that sense of humor.
Yeah, definitely.
And for it to be brand new.
Yes.
And really nothing else like this existed.
No, like now it's kind of commonplace. And there was a time where it got played out. Like we all kind of as a culture, and we were wrong. We all kind of as a culture turned our backs on Jack Black because we were like, this is too much. We've had it.
It wasn't even his fault.
We were incorrect. Yeah, no, it was not his fault.
Hollywood, when Hollywood sunk their teeth into Jack Black, you could sense them start to be like, this movie has a character that we need a Jack Black type for.
For sure.
And so other actors had to do Jack Black stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm sick of that voice.
Yeah, totally. And that's his voice. So then you were inherently kind of sick of him too.
Yes.
But then at a certain point...
But he had the purity.
Absolutely.
Because when it's true, authentic Jack Black...
It shines through.
It shines through. But when you have to, and I hate to besmirch the fallen, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman...
Yeah. Oh my God. What is that movie?
Along Came Polly.
Yes, where he's like...
He's basically just been like, all right, skadoosh.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's just like saying like the most like annoying shit.
So weird.
It's irritating.
Because also he's such a good actor and a serious actor. Like, I think he's been a little funny here and there, but he hasn't been the comic relief in a rom-com traditionally. So he's like sidling up to, I think, Ben Stiller. Is that who's in Along Came Polly?
I think so, yeah.
And being like, I sharted. And also it's presented like
there was a big shart scene in that.
It's presented like we as a nation had not heard of sharting before. Right. And like they were introducing it to us because he's like, I sharted. I farted and a little bit of shit came out. And we were like, yeah, we know what sharting is. Yeah,
like, right. Oh God.
Yes.
Miserable.
So it wasn't really Jack Black's fault, but we all got very sick of that kind of guy. And unfortunately, he was that kind of guy. So we inherently became sick of him for a time. But then I think we all, if not most of us, realized, I think it was only a few years that were dark. And then we were like, wait a second, this guy rules. Yeah. He's amazing. He's so funny. He seems so nice in real life.
Seems like a good person.
Incredibly likable.
Yeah.
Always all in. And I think that we all now appreciate him for that and like revere him for that once again. He's once again on the throne.
And it's been bizarre to see like my daughter be really into Bowser. Which is like, she's into Jack Black at 2 years old. Like, it's very weird. It's really weird. I was telling
How
you...
Jack Blacky is Bowser?
Oh, it's
pretty... It's his voice, obviously, but is he being like...
He's gonna rule the world. Like, you can sense all the faces that he's making.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah.
But I think...
have you ever seen... Sorry. Have you ever seen this tweet? I think it only came out like, I don't know, a few months ago or something, but somebody tweeted, Jack Black is the only entertainer we have and that we've ever had. And it was just a clip of him on Jimmy Fallon playing a plastic...
Oh, the saxophone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny.
He takes out a little and I think they do this on tour as well.
Yeah.
It's a saxophone. It's a child's, like a play school saxophone. And he says he's going to play it. And he makes a whole big show about like prepping the reed.
Yes, it's
for
so
it and like
funny.
wiping it off and getting his mouth ready. Like you see saxophone players like sort of like lick their lips and like my brother-in-law plays the saxophone. But then he just puts his mouth on it and hits a few buttons and it comes out like but he dances around. It's outstanding.
He's going hard. He goes down to the roots and he's like really like
playing,
bopping it and stuff.
Yes.
He's great.
Yep. And damn, his timing's just great too, because he's prepping the saxophone and he's going, all right, 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, motherfudger. Yep. And then he goes into playing and it's just like the rhythms of this person are inhumanly funny and enjoyable. It's like he was grown in a lab.
I know. I didn't click on it and watch it, but I saw a YouTube video that said, does Jack Black have perfect pitch? And I was like, you know what? I believe it.
Oh yeah, I don't need to know. I'm sure he does.
I'm sure it'll be enjoyable to watch, but I was like, of course he does.
Yes.
He's just fantastic.
Outstandingly funny.
So, and also Kyle Gass is hilarious too. He just has the more like backseat personality.
He does.
But he's funny as hell.
He is an incredibly funny performer.
Yeah.
A very skilled musician, obviously.
Yes, quite. He's classically trained on the guitar.
I learned a few things about them as a duo that almost made me cry today.
That's nice.
I maybe I'll get into it later, but there's like also like a very heartwarming core. Yeah. So I literally found out this morning that there was a sort of documentary on Audible about them.
Yeah.
I think they produced it themselves, but it's sort of like, drop the veneer, let's tell the actual story about where we came from, how this all came together, how we landed on this sense of humor, how our career has developed. It's called The Road to Redunction. And it's on Audible. I'd never heard of this.
Yeah.
And I have been researching this stuff for like a week.
Right.
So I listened to it. There's a song on one of their most recent albums, Rise of the Phoenix, called "The Ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage."
Yeah,
and it's like a Bruce Springsteen-esque, like, "This is the ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage." And he's being very gravelly, and it is all about how they got along. Then Hollywood Jack made millions of dollars. And made even more millions. And Cage was left alone off the stage, going slowly insane. And then Hollywood Jack finds out that the Rage Cage is struggling and boards a jet to fly all night through the rain and begs doctors to use the tools of their trade to save the Rage Cage, because don't you understand, he and I are one and the same.
Yeah.
And it's all about the Rage Cage being bitter that Hollywood Jack has left him behind. I had no idea that is. You can listen to that song and it's really well written. It's not a funny Tenacious D song, which is weird. I had no idea that it was genuinely based on real life. Yeah, there was a period of time where they had an intervention for Kyle Gass, and Jack Black booked a private jet to basically roll out a red carpet to get him to rehab. And Kyle Gass started to like lose. He was in a manic state. Yeah. And like thought that like part of this was like maybe being recorded for a show or something. And so in the song, I thought it was a gag on rehab to be like, Kyle Gass went completely insane. But like he struggled. Yeah. And Jack Black did everything he could to get him right and make sure I'm not leaving you behind. And it was genuinely based on this like understandable imposter syndrome, jealousy thing of Jack Black being a juggernaut and Kyle Gass sort of being forgotten. Yeah. And this documentary, The Road to Redunction, like a big thing is like at the end, Jack Black being like, no, Tenacious D until I die, Tenacious D until you die. And like you can sense how much love they have for each other and how authentically they wrote a song that was about resentments that genuinely bubbled up between them. Yeah. And how important it was for them to work together to get through it and get Kyle to be okay. Yeah. And I was kind of blown away by that. Yeah, today. It's really sweet. I would recommend people listen to it.
I know. I'll have to listen to that. I had read about this stuff that you're talking about.
You knew this? I had no idea. Because I had heard that song and I was like, this feels like this sort of like rock and roll folklore type stuff. Yeah. Like this easily could be a parody of
like what would happen.
That Kyle Gass would be bitter and go insane while Jack Black's in the spotlight. I've seen people make jokes like that. Yeah. But it was based on a kernel of truth that they extrapolated to extremes in the song. Yeah. But it was like, that's a very honest song about the two of them. And so it's so funny because like the rest of their music is about embellishing real life, but taking it so far that it's like, let's talk about the history of Tenacious D. We ride with kings on mighty steeds.
Yeah, right.
And
they battled Beelzebub.
They battle Beelzebub.
Or Beelzeboss.
Beelzeboss. He's the devil. He loves metal.
Right.
So I don't know. I found that very heartwarming. And it also, frankly...
No, it's interesting.
We'll get the sad stuff out of the way. It hit at a time where, like, I'm paying a lot of attention to things you sent me today just about Kevin Smith. Yeah. He's got a story in People magazine as of recording today about his mental health struggles and trying to get better. And the anxiety of sharing your story with people is what if they make fun of you or tear you down. Yeah. But so he's been seeking help. John Mulaney has a new special, a tremendous portion of which is about going to rehab and struggling with sobriety and your friends confronting you. As we're recording right now, Bam Margera is still on the run from police. He punched his brother in the face, threatened his dad. They called the cops and he ran away into the woods. Yep. And has not been found yet. Yeah. And Steve-O, notably, is another person who like went through a tremendous amount of struggle with addiction and seems to have like really pulled out and is on like a big, self-care, mental health, wellness trend, which is outstanding.
Yeah, totally.
But so I don't know. I found out about this Tenacious D stuff at a time where it's like a lot of people that I have watched for decades. I guess John Mulaney, I've been less aware for that long. But like, it's interesting to see people that made you laugh that long ago open up about like, no, we all. It's part of the veneer of creating stuff to seem like you are confident and have it all together, but like everybody is struggling to some degree, and I was very impressed by that story, and honestly, like I genuinely almost just burst into tears listening to it today. Thankfully in a heartwarmingly positive way, but I did not expect Tenacious D to bring me there.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a really sad thing, but I mean, it is heartwarming because he flew to him to try to take care of him.
Yes.
It's a big deal. And I just want to say, you and I have those struggles.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show.
We've definitely talked about it on the show, but if somebody hasn't heard, like, I don't know, Will and I both take medication. I just had to juggle my medications to find a better cocktail. I'm doing EMDR therapy. Like, there's a whole all kinds of people have all kinds of things going on.
Yes, I would say probably at least once a week I question whether or not I should quit everything. Just like hang it all up.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
And, it's probably not good. But like, it's sort of part of the rhythm of like trying to live, creating stuff that hopefully makes people happier, entertained, and feeling like maybe you're failing. Is you have a reaction that's just like, well then fuck it.
Yeah.
Like hang it all up until you remember how much you love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so yeah, I was sort of blindsided by that.
Right. Yeah, I would think.
And honestly, like you said, like I think everybody sort of like fell out of love with Jack Black for a while. And I certainly have had that with like all of these creators, only to now, in my 30s be like, oh wait, like it's sort of more nuanced and interesting. There's like this whole thing about like parasocial relationships, where like people on social media will insert themselves into a celebrity's life in weird. This actually has been happening with Bam, where people are like, free Bam, and it's like, no, Bam seems like he's struggling, and needs help. He doesn't need his audience to say you're right, they're
to
all
encourage
against
him.
you. What are you doing? You do not know this man. It's interesting to like watch these celebrities and entertainers come clean about what they've been fighting against and be like, oh, the times that I haven't liked you, it's now almost, it is parasocial. It is almost like when you have a loved one in your life and you're like, I've seen you be bad. I've seen you be good. And I love you for all of it. Yeah. Right? Like I love you in spite of the things that you've done that I disagree with. Like, even if I don't always love everything you make, I can appreciate you. I can appreciate these entertainers. Yeah. And like, I feel like it gives you more of an understanding and sympathy for the human condition.
I think part of that is maybe getting older and a little bit of a maturity thing. Like
Probably.
The people who were like super fans of Jack Black and then got kind of sick of it were probably ballpark our ages-ish. It's probably like teens, early 20s people. Yeah. And they're like, ugh, you're annoying. And then we get a little bit older and we're like, yeah, but you don't have to like throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like there was just a period where it got to be a little too much. Yep. And then you can go back and find some stasis with it.
And no one is all one thing anyway.
Right.
It's just interesting to see other sides. But yeah, I also, just to get back to like, let's get back to the joy.
Sure.
Because we're going to get into like the badass metal stuff now. Right. I remember being in class and I had some teacher that would let us watch MTV. I don't know why. I have no recollection.
Was it like humanities or whatever?
No.
Mrs. Koning?
Oh,
Did you ever have her?
No, I think she left right before I came in. And then I had Mr. Townsend.
Loved her. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm forgetting someone's name that I'm trying to remember, but whatever. I had great teachers. Yeah. But so no, I had this class and they would let us watch MTV, and Wonderboy came on, and it was like, I was like, what is this? Because it was talky. Like he talks for a lot of that song, and it's that Jack Black smarm. Yeah. It was like, how about the power to kill a yak? Right. 200 yards away, and just like, what? Yeah. This is a song? And the video is like some Lord of the Rings epic climbing like a snow-capped mountain.
Right.
And I didn't understand that it was funny. I understood that it was like emotional. Because the way that he sings
couldn't get a beat
Wonderboy,
on it.
there's like a gentle quality to his voice.
It's wistful.
It's like, to me, it was like finding out, like, there was like a single from a Broadway play on MTV, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. And then when Tribute came out, I realized how funny it was, and I loved it even more. And then just like you, I listened to it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
I've even sung Tenacious D songs on stage in front of an audience.
For what?
I don't remember if this was, I think they made me come back to the high school after I graduated for a show, and I didn't know what to do, so I sang Wonderboy.
Well, was it to pass your crown on?
Yeah, it was to pass on my crown.
Will won Mr. EBHS. He was a pageant boy, and then he had to pass his crown on to the next person.
I was a pageant boy. It was Mr. East Brunswick High School.
That's right.
And I won, so I won the crown. And then they want you to pass the crown on.
Yeah.
So I came back, and I won by being funny. So I came back, and I don't play the guitar or anything. So I had them bring me a guitar, and I played Wonderboy to the best of my ability and acted. I acted as if I had given.
Did you try to learn how to play Wonderboy?
No,
or you were
I didn't
miming?
I didn't bother. Yeah. No, I wasn't even miming. I was playing.
Oh.
I was strumming a guitar, and it sounded like shit.
Yeah, I would imagine.
While I sang Wonderboy, and then I just acted like I had given them the biggest gift.
Was there a backing track?
No.
Oh, was it really weird?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And then I gave the next guy the crown, and I think I even pronounced his name wrong by mistake.
William.
Which I felt very guilty about.
What are you going to do?
But no, there was a period of time in high school where I was very much appreciated for
yeah, Will was the man.
Just doing whatever I wanted.
He was extremely popular.
So yeah, but like that it is that. I loved Tenacious D.
Yeah.
And then I fell away for decades.
Yeah. Totally. Well, not really decades, probably. Yeah, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I've not really listened to Tenacious D. Probably. I didn't listen.
That's true.
I listened to that one album, and I saw the movie.
Yeah, I guess 2001 is decades ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Same then.
Oh, yeah. But I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back. It's like I'm 17 again.
Woo. Okay, so let's talk about kind of where they came from. So the band was sort of spawned from their show, Tenacious D, which aired on HBO between 1997 and 2000. It was 6 episodes that stretched all of that time.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
And the way it's aired now on HBO Max, each episode's 15 minutes long, so they clump them together.
Right.
So technically, there were 3 episodes. It's like they aired one a year.
Right.
Basically.
Like it was like a holiday special.
So bizarre.
So strange. So it was full of stuff that became kind of their signature later. It was acoustic stylings that they played like it was arena rock, bravado, calling themselves the greatest band on earth, and badass traditionally metal topics like demons and doing it and stuff like that. So that led to that 2001 album titled Tenacious D. And by the way, the band name comes from something that the sports announcer Marv Albert said once. I guess he was talking about defense. Yes. And he was like, that's a Tenacious D instead of a Tenacious Defense, I guess.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
And they just like thought that was really funny or something. Yeah. So here's how this is crazy how they were able to record this album. Jack Black, because when this happened, he was like a working actor already. So he worked with Neil Diamond on the movie Saving Silverman. And I guess between, scenes or something like that, mentioned his band and that they wanted to record. And Neil Diamond offered him his studio for them to record the album in.
What?
So that's what they did.
That's weird.
It's really weird and really nice. Like just this like weird dude from Saving Silverman who's like, yeah, all the nachos are together. It counts as one nacho. Neil Diamond saw that and was like, this guy, I'd like him to use my studio.
Feel free.
Yeah.
That's very weird.
Seems like a nice fellow.
When did Saving Silverman came out before the album?
I guess.
All right.
So the producers, the Dust Brothers, who I remember like from that era, produced it, and Dave Grohl offered to play on a couple of songs, but then ended up doing almost the whole album because he was just like having fun. This is wild stuff.
It's so crazy that this is all pre-first album.
Yes.
I
don't know how they met Dave Grohl or the Dust Brothers or any of that. I'm not sure.
They've been part of this scene for like a decade prior.
I know. I just don't know the actual.
But they just played shows.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's cuckoo. So I read a 20-year anniversary retrospective interview from Variety, which is from a couple of years ago. And I just wanted to share this anecdote because it leads to something funny. The interview shared a couple of reviews from the time with Jack Black and Kyle Gass. So Time magazine said, Black and Gass set themselves up as buffoons with titles like Karate Schnitzel, then proceed to defy expectations with precise guitars, polished vocal harmonies, and slamming backup musicians. The Independent said the album was full of, quote, swearing and scatology, and was, quote, bereft of even the slightest skid mark of humor.
Wait a minute. Wait. Whose review is that?
The Independent.
So they're criticizing the humor.
Yes.
But they themselves use a poop joke.
Right.
Because not only do they say that it's full of scatology, which sounds like, can you
like
study
you don't
that?
like it. Yeah.
Can you be like a professor of scatology?
Oh my God.
My scatology professor.
Yeah. Wow.
Came over and he's been in the bathroom for a while.
Maybe that's an avenue for me to explore.
Maybe. So they ding them for their scatology.
Right.
But then they say it's bereft of even a skid mark of humor.
Correct.
So I'm sorry. Are poop jokes bad or good?
Do we like them or we don't? Okay, and now here's really why I included this. This is what Jack Black said in response to that.
Oh, great.
Oh, man, you saved the worst for last. That is rough. I got offered a role in a movie called Johnny Skid Marks. I said that weird. I got offered a role in a movie called Johnny Skid Marks. I still said it weird.
Wow.
I actually really liked the script. Frances McDormand was in it. I did it, but the first day on the set, I said, guys, I'm really excited to be here, but this is just a working title, right? They were like, what's wrong with the title? I said, well, it means shit stain. They didn't listen to me. They called it Johnny Skid Marks, and it skid marked its way straight to the DVD bin.
Wait, it's not about a poop man?
No, it's not. I looked it up, and I don't remember what I found.
That sounds about right. That's why it's in the bin.
Yeah, exactly. So the album cover for the self-titled album has Jack Black and Kyle Gass as hoofed goat creatures from the waist down standing on a pentagram, and they're in chains in front of a huge Satan. The album was removed from the shelves of some stores because of its satanic themes.
God, that's awesome. That's what you want.
Absolutely.
I mean, you want to make the sales.
Certainly.
But for
to
the reputation to be like, oh, we were banned from some retailers, that works in their favor beautifully.
Without question. Yeah, to have that kind of cachet, that bad boy cachet. So I decided to go through the album, pick out songs that have sort of, themes that are a little bit devilish or whatever.
Yes.
And tell you about the plot of them, and then pick out some key lyrics.
Okay.
To discuss. So first we're going to talk about Tribute.
Yes.
Of course.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. This became, I would say, like the breakout hit probably of the album. Now, William, did you find anything about Johnny Skid Marks?
I did. I was trying not to interrupt, but it is worth mentioning real quick. Johnny Skid Marks. I can't believe this is real. I've never heard of this.
I hadn't either.
It is a 1998 mystery drama. With that name, I swear to God, I thought it was like a Bubble Boy type comedy.
Definitely.
I thought it was like a Joe Dirt. Johnny Skid Marks. No.
Yes.
From Google. A crime photographer, Peter Gallagher, involved in blackmail, becomes nervous when associates start to die.
Does he become nervous and shit his pants? That's why it's called Johnny Skid Marks?
That's how nervous he is.
John Lithgow's in it?
John Lithgow is in it. The cover art is a chalk outline of a body with blood all around it. There should be shit shooting out of the bottom.
Yes.
But the tagline on the poster...
Or just a smear on the... on the chalk outline.
The tagline is, when you shoot corpses for a living, you don't expect to become one. Johnny Skid Marks.
Oh my God.
We're watching this.
Yeah, I would totally watch Johnny Skid Marks.
I gotta see it.
Plus it's a mystery.
Plus Jack Black is in it.
Yeah.
He's also in The Jackal with Bruce Willis.
He's in a lot of weird things where
Bruce Willis shoots him. And his arm explodes into like tendrily meat, and he's screaming and crying. And I remember Dad put it on, and I was watching with him, and I was like, "That's Jack Black. That's Jack Black." Like it was horrifying. It was like nauseating.
He is also, of course, and I still know what you did last summer.
Yes.
So he dips a toe in our world quite frequently.
He does, and mocked for his portrayal in that film, in the movie Scary Movie.
Wrongly.
They go, ooh, I wanted to kill that fat white Jamaican guy.
Oh, shut up.
It was Jack Black.
Shut
the whole
up,
time.
Scary Movie.
We just didn't know.
All right, so here is the plot of the song Tribute. Here's what's going down here. Jack and Kyle were hitchhiking when they came across the devil, who told them that if they didn't play the best song in the world, he would eat their souls. Determined, Jables and Rage Cage looked at each other and started playing.
This is how I wrote my notes too.
Oh, good. So the song Tribute doesn't actually sound anything like the song they played to the devil on that day. It's a new song merely written in tribute, of course.
They don't remember the song that defeated the devil.
Right. So they just have to like whip something up about it. So here are the standout lyrics. And this is R.E., the song that they played for the devil. Needless to say, the beast was stunned. A whip crack went his whippy tail, and the beast was done. He asked us, "Be you angels?" And we said, "Nay, we are but men." Okay. Fan theory from me. They don't state why they're not actually just playing the song that defeated the demon, but I assume that some sort of magic occurred that prohibits them from playing it other than that one time, or perhaps just remembering the original song. So there's a devil mind wipe or something,
They didn't organically forget. Some sort of ethereal, godlike magic makes it so that either power is incapable of being captured on a second time.
Yes, it was only that one time, that one place that this legendary song could have been played.
Right.
In the music video, it's them acting this stuff out with Dave Grohl unrecognizable as the devil.
Yes.
And when you didn't know that at first, and when people found that out, we were like, "Oh, what?
What? They're friends."
Yeah, very fun.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Wonderboy. This song tells the story of a young hero with supernatural powers, it seems like maybe in medieval times, and his adversary, young nasty man. Having the same kind of powers, they eventually joined forces and, what? Form a band called Tenacious D. It's Kyle and Jack. Standout lyrics. High above the mucky muck castle made of clouds, there sits Wonderboy sitting oh so proudly. Not much to say when you're high above the mucky muck. Now we jump forward a little bit. Now it's time for me to tell you about young nasty man, arch rival and nemesis of Wonderboy, with powers comparable to Wonderboy. What powers, you ask? I don't know. How about the power of flight? That do anything for you? That's levitation, Holmes. How about the power to kill a yak from 200 yards away with mind bullets? That's telekinesis, Kyle. How about the power to move you?
And then it does move me.
Yeah, no, it's great.
His voice is beautiful.
Yes, it is. No, his voice is gorgeous. Now, just to sort of sew that up. Oh, take my hand, young nasty man, and we'll fly. Bring out your broadsword. There's the Hydra. Slice his throat and grab his scrot. You take the high road. I'll take the low. There, the crevasse. Fill it.
Go for it.
With your mighty juice.
So like, aired on MTV. I could not figure out what I was looking at.
I felt the same way. You came way positively though, and I don't even know if I finished the whole video on first watching. I was just like, what the hell's going on?
I'm not kidding. I just thought it was beautiful.
That's nice.
I didn't know. I knew it was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the point was that the whole thing it's like even hilarious that it sounds beautiful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
It just sounded melodic and lovely
beautiful
to me.
I know. So this is a sweeping epic of a song, and the video was kind of the same as we mentioned. And I wrote down all the things I already said about how I didn't get it, and then tribute came out.
Yeah.
Okay. Explosivo.
Yes.
I think this is just kind of a plotless exploration of joy and things that are rad and badass. In fact, one of the lyrics is, what's the name of the song? Explosivo. Don't know what it's about, but it's good. Yes. It's a fast-paced shorty that packs a punch. Standout lyrics? We are fueled by Satan. Yes, we're schooled by Satan. Fueled by Satan. Writing those tasty riffs just as fast as we can. Schooled by Satan. We were the inventors of the cosmic astral code. We've come to blow you away. We've come to blow your nose. I am not one of you. I come from an ancient time. I am known as the kicker of elves. I am also known as the angel crusher. Explosivo.
The angel crusher.
Yeah, I know.
That
awesome.
Genuinely sounds, it's both stupid.
Yeah.
But it also does sound like something that could be in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like they speak of the angel crusher.
Right. You're like, oh God, who was that?
Exactly. They have such a great way of describing supernatural demonic stuff.
I know.
I like their vocabulary a lot.
I do too. And I looked up, like, what is the deal? What are the origins of, like, heavy metal being so into, like, Satan and medieval stuff and everything? And what Reddit told me, what Reddit surmised and made sense to me, is that a lot of nerds ended up being metal people because they're both kind of like fringy sort of things. They're not like the popular jock thing. And so the two met, and it was just kind of they made beautiful music
and
together.
Nerds like evil stuff? Or like Dungeons
Sometimes,
and Dragons
like Dungeons and Dragons type nerds, fantasy nerds, Hobbit nerds.
So a lot of like, hellscapes where you see some sort of like a winged demon thing,
dragons,
lava spouts, and,
having to throw a ring into a pit of fire or whatever, the Eye of Sauron,
right?
So it makes sense to me. So now
sorry to interrupt, I do know that on an episode of Tell 'em Steve Dave, the lead singer of Monster Magnet, Dave Windorf,
why have we talked about this so much? But go ahead.
You're right, but Dave Windorf makes mention of like being into metal and the lore and stuff, and he talks about how guitars have 6 strings because the devil has 6 fingers.
That's awesome.
The 6-fingered hand of Satan can play a 6th string.
Yeah.
And like that's
Tell that to Garth Brooks on SNL.
Oh, the devil can't write no love song, according to Mr. Brooks. Bing, bat on the highway, on the byway, Mr. Robotron. All right, that sucks. Does everybody know the Garth Brooks devil can't write a love song sketch, which is both great and ends horribly?
Ends terribly.
Worst ending to any sketch ever.
It's just kind of like a showcase for him to sing a little ditty.
Oh boy, miserable.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're going to end the demonic references on the self-titled album with the song Dio. This is about Ronnie James Dio, an 80s rocker who used a lot of fantasy imagery in his songwriting. It's a plea to Dio to pass the torch to Jables and KG with assurances that they'll make sure he's taken care of. Standout lyrics: Dio has rocked for a long, long time. Now it's time to pass the torch. He has songs of wildebeests and angels. He has soared on the wings of a demon. Your sauce will mix with ours and we'll make a good goulash, baby. Dio, time to go. You must give your cape and scepter to me, and a smaller one for KG. What? Oh, then it's me. Okay, never mind. I'm done.
the whole notion that Jack Black is like,
I know, the big one, and then
the big one, and Kyle Gass is the little one.
He gets the scraps.
Kyle Gass is about 8 to 10 years older than Jack Black.
I know, it's
and
really
taught
funny.
Jack Black how to play guitar. And the entire bravado of Tenacious D being that Kyle has to basically like sit at the kids' table is insanely funny.
It's amazing.
It is so goddamn funny.
So, Will, let's move on to... We've talked about them for a long time. To the Pick of Destiny?
I'm just enjoying myself.
I was just going to say to talk about the Pick of Destiny.
Okay. All right. I guess, well, here's the thing. Because we have to. We have to. It's not even up to me. We've got bosses that are breathing down our neck.
Oh, yeah.
And that is why I am bound by contract to remind you all of the Jersey Devil Fable Festival.
Yes.
Coming up, like next week?
Yep.
This is insane.
I know.
Friday, May 5th, 7:30 p.m., Kristen and I are at the film festival itself. We've got screeners. We're going to watch them. We're going to talk about them. The filmmakers are going to be there. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
But whatever. The main event happens the next day, Saturday, May 6th. Kristen and I have a table in Asbury Park, New Jersey, from 12 to 6. You can see us. You can come by. You can shake our hands, take a pin, take a sticker.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock, you get your asses in gear because we are doing our first in-person live show in years. Kristen and I are going to be doing an episode of Guide to the Unknown in front of attendees of the Jersey Devil Fable Festival.
I bought a new dress for it, so show up.
Did you?
I did. I needed something lightweight because I schwitz.
Oh, understood. Okay.
We're going to be outside? Come on.
So make sure you stop by Asbury Park, New Jersey at the Paranormal Books and Curiosities shop. Head to jerseydevilfest.com for details at GTTU pod. Stay in the loop. I'm sure we'll be posting stuff.
Yeah.
Also head to patreon.com/GTTU pod if you're enjoying this episode. You're guaranteed to like the stuff that we're doing over on Patreon because we are every single week posting episodes of a completely second podcast, which is so much fun to do, where we watch clips, we react to, we play video games and react to weird horror stuff, and we talk about new movies like Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
This most recent episode was our full conversation. It starts spoiler free with our thoughts, so you don't have to worry if you haven't seen it yet. And then we go whole hog and say everything that pops into our dainty little heads.
That's right.
Patreon.com has different tiers. Find the one that fits you. You're guaranteed to get so many shows depending on which tier you pick. There's so much there to unlock.
Yeah.
And I also have two other things I want to say personally, if you don't mind.
Of course. I
just released a new story on themythtraveler.com. I've decided to kick things into gear. I'd been dancing around with a series I started last year called Elder Things, which is sort of like a Stranger Things, but with old people, which is a jokey premise, but it stopped being so much a joke.
It's great.
It's turning into a story that I've had in my mind for, no joke, like a decade. I know where the story is going. I'm going to be posting chapters every single week. Themythtraveler.com. And also, on Tuesday, I'll have an episode of Tell 'em Steve Dave that I've been working on. It is called Will Rogers Radio Theater. It is going to be on the Tell 'em Steve Dave Patreon. It is so goddamn funny. I've been editing it. It is still making me laugh. When you edit, you listen to things about 1,000 times.
Yep.
Still making me laugh. You're going to love it.
That's awesome.
So that is patreon.com/ Tell 'em Steve Dave. I don't know. I'll post it.
If you Google Tell 'em Steve Dave Patreon, it'll come up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure it will. So check that out.
Yeah.
Will Rogers Radio Theater. My name's in the title. There's a little cartoon of me that Walt Flanagan made.
Amazing.
Super, super fun. So go check that out.
That's so awesome.
And there you go. So let's talk more Tenacious D, which is why we're all here.
That's right. It's the reason for the season.
In 2006, they made a movie. That movie is Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. This movie is two things jammed together. One, it is the origin of the band Tenacious D, starting with Jack Black's humble beginnings in Kickapoo, Missouri, where a child actor plays young JB and is like a scene-stealing...
Incredible.
Is one of the greatest child performers maybe in the world.
He's the best. Now, before you talk about that, I just want to harken back to what you were talking about before with a little bit of conflict or like not super happiness on Kyle Gass's part. They were supposed to make this movie before Jack Black made School of Rock.
Oh.
And they ended up putting it back, the production.
Is that right?
For him to make School of Rock. And so like Kyle was feeling kind of bent out of shape about that and bummed out a little bit because they were supposed to do this cool thing together. And then Jack Black got crazy famous off of School of Rock.
Yeah.
And then they were hoping that this was going to be huge as a follow-up, not only because it would just be a fun movie, but because Jack Black was so like famous by this point and it was not well loved.
It made $8 million.
Right.
Like
so
total, I think. Like it did not do well.
Did we see this in theaters together?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They got, 11 of my bucks.
Yeah, they got me. I was there.
Yeah.
But I think I only saw it the once, I will say.
I've now seen it twice.
Now
yes.
I've seen it twice, yeah. But so young JB was born to a religious family. Religious through and through.
Of course.
But yeah, there was a black sheep. And he sang this song in front of his family. He pops out.
In front of his family.
He pops out. His father's played by Meatloaf.
Yeah.
But he's a very devout religious father in this movie. And young JB sings the following song. Oh, the dragon's balls were blazing as I stepped into his cave. Then I sliced his fudging cockles with my long and shiny blade. 'Twas I who fudged the dragon. Fudge-a-lie, sing fudge-a-loo. And if you try to fudge with me, then I shall fudge you too. And his father gets mad at him, hits him with a belt. So young JB is feeling lost and so alone. But thankfully, a poster of Ronnie James Dio comes to life. And Dio speaks a prophecy to young Jack Black. In the city of fallen angels, where the ocean meets the sand, you will form a strong alliance and the world's most awesome band. To find your fame and fortune, through the valley you must walk. You will face your inner demons. Now go, my son, and rock. Jack Black ran away from his house that night.
That's right.
And he ran across the entire country trying to make his way to Hollywood. He stopped at like Hollywood, Georgia, then Hollywood, New Jersey.
They have like a little map that shows his trajectory.
This overweight kid running, like green screened onto the map. The kid is now on the Goldbergs.
Oh, really?
He's one of the main characters on the Goldbergs.
Good for him.
Yeah. So he ends up in the West Coast where he meets Kyle Gass in Venice Beach. Kyle Gass is busking, and he is playing classic rock on a guitar. And this is where the song Classico comes in, which accidentally started playing when we were listening to classical music in the car to try to calm down baby Zoe. And some of the lyrics are, "Can't you see he's the man? Let me hear you applaud. He is more than a man. He's a shiny golden god. If you think it's time to fudge and rock and fudge and roll out of control." And I was like, "Allie, I don't." And she was like, "No, what's wrong?" And I was like, "Then you know it's time to rock and you try to suck my fudge and blanc."
Yeah.
I was like, we
should turn this off.
We should turn this off now, I think, for the child's sake. KG agrees to train him, somewhat reluctantly. Hilarity ensues.
Of course.
This is where the movie becomes a stoner comedy.
Yeah.
With like stoner in bold italics.
Yes.
This is like about like smoking bongs and taking a rip. Let me just put it this way. They become high. In this film.
Yeah, there's some like Dude, Where's My Car-esque hijinks, I would imagine.
I've actually
never seen Dude, Where's My Car.
They become stoned.
Yeah.
And this has never been my favorite kind of movie.
Yeah, I
know. So it slows down for me. Oddly, they do talk a lot about wanting to watch the show In Search of Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
And that is set up and comes back later.
Yeah.
Which is unusual.
Maybe that was ripped from real life.
Sort of is. I have the craziest story to tell you about that. But to get there, some of the HBO show elements start getting worked in. In the HBO show, they always perform at an open mic night. Paul F. Tompkins is always the host. That happens here. They go to an open mic night. Paul F. Tompkins is the host. And he's like, all right, come on, guys. Like, you got to write some other songs.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And they try to figure out, what are we missing that other great bands have? And Kyle Gass notices they all have the same pick.
Yeah.
I took note. It was 35 minutes into the movie before they talk about the pick of destiny, which I think
it's a little long.
Is a little long.
I'm remembering now that I had a similar movie watching experience as you. I was very hyped on it when I first started watching it, like last year or whatever. And then I remember being like, okay.
I'm happy to watch them.
Yeah, me too. But
I think of this movie.
I drooped a little bit.
It becomes the movie I think it is trying to be like a third of the way through.
Yeah.
It becomes an Indiana Jones type parody where they're learning
they're
about
on a quest,
a legendary MacGuffin, and they go on a quest to capture it.
Right.
So here is the legend of the pick of destiny, because they go to a Guitar Center to try to just buy one.
Yeah.
But then Ben Stiller, playing a mutton chopped, like somewhat sparse afroed employee.
Ben Stiller is so funny. Here's another person who I think we forget sometimes.
He's wonderful.
Because he's not really in as much stuff lately. Yeah. He used to be absolutely humongous. Ben Stiller in anything is so goddamn funny.
I love him.
He's great.
I absolutely love him. So Ben Stiller takes them into like a back closet where he gives a Raiders of the Ark-esque lore dump.
Yeah.
About the pick of destiny. He speaks of his first encounter with it. He was a guitar tech. One night in New Jersey, he saw a guitarist shredding licks, quote, way beyond his capabilities. It was the pick. At the end of the show, not knowing what he had, he flicked the guitar pick into the audience, and a kid named Eddie caught it. Eddie Van Halen. He goes on. I start researching it. Turns out this thing goes way deeper than I could have imagined. Way deeper. Back to the Dark Ages. I moved to Rome, quit my job, learned Latin. I gained the trust of the night librarian at the Vatican, a gentleman named Salvatore Papadillo. He turned me onto some shit you wouldn't believe. Salvatore Papadillo. When they first ask about trying to get a pick like this, he goes, "Whatever Papadillo told you, it was a lie." Meaningless. Just a funny name. A funny name. So he goes, "Check this out. It's an ancient scroll, all in Latin. I translated it. Took me 6 years." And he tells the origin of the pick of destiny. Mm-hmm. Long ago, a dark wizard used his black magic to summon Satan himself. Satanus. That's Latin for Satan, he says. A horrific battle ensued, but the great demon was far too powerful. Depicted on screen is like a little cartoon of a demon summoning snakes to attack the blacksmith, or to attack the wizard. Luckily, a blacksmith heard the beast's roars. The blacksmith comes to the wizard's help. He hurls a hammer. It hits the devil in the tooth and knocks off a fang. He says, "Fudge, you chipped my tooth. I'm not complete." And then the wizard cries out an incantation. Talk about Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Right? Clatu Verada
True.
Nectar. Venison, Romanibus donec denau completo sis. From whence you came, you shall remain until you are complete again. The demon is drawn back into the fires of hell, and the dark wizard was totally stoked to be alive. With a long drawn his hash pipe, the wizard and this is where I'm like, are people in the audience really being like, the wizard's smoking weed?
I don't know.
Do people love this? And I've always, I know I must be in the minority of this kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't think it's cool.
Yeah.
Or like really, I don't know. Maybe like, occasionally it could be funny or something.
I just picture like, do they think like two guys in the movie theater like high five?
I know. They're talking about weed.
The cartoon wizard takes a long draw on his hash pipe. So he devises a plan to repay the blacksmith. The blacksmith loved a fair maiden. To gain her affection, he would need a true master's skill. And so the wizard fashioned the demon's tooth into a pick that would make the blacksmith play only the most masterful of melodies on his lute, thereby winning the heart of the maiden he loved. The secret of the pick died with the blacksmith, and then poof. All of a sudden, it reappears in the American South at the turn of the century, in Robert Johnson's fingers. Spawns the birth.
We talked about him on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
It was in the Urban Legends.
Yeah, that's right. It spawns the birth of the blues and rock and roll. The pick is a tiny part of the beast, so it has supernatural qualities. Supernatural. Natural. It's like a whole other level above super.
Yeah.
He then reveals the last known location of the pick is likely in the Rock and Roll History Museum, an impenetrable fortress. He urges them to forget the pick. There's no cheese at the end of that tunnel. But they're up to the challenge.
Of course they are.
Next part of the movie, the heist. How are they going to break in? And this is like Indiana Jones trying to get into some, booby trap laden temple.
Right.
So this stuff I'm down with. I would watch Tenacious D go on some other big mission to try to get some other, demonic rock and roll relic.
Course.
That's fine with me. So they travel to the Rock and Roll History Museum. They argue. They briefly break up. This is evidently partly based on real life, I think, because in the Audible thing I listened to, Kyle Gass got a girlfriend at one point, and the band fell apart in the 90s. Briefly, I think.
Funny.
A frightening man with one leg, played by Tim Robbins.
Okay.
Friends with Kyle Gass because they were in the Actors Gang together. Explains to Jack Black that he had once tried to break into the Rock and Roll History Museum, only to lose his leg under a closing security gate. He gives Jack Black the key to entering the museum. Jack Black's on the toilet during this.
Of course.
Kyle Gass goes off to party with the ladies. Walking to the museum, Jack Black is hungry, so he sits down and he eats a handful of mushrooms, unaware of the psychoactive effects. And he begins to hallucinate, seeing Bigfoot walk by, and then imagines that Bigfoot is his father and he's the baby. Okay. I started to write down, why is Sasquatch involved? Because he like pops up on the HBO show as well.
Yeah.
Like years earlier, and like I
guess they just love Sasquatch.
No.
Oh. It's
more than that, and it's way weirder than you think.
Okay.
Sasquatch in this movie is played by John C. Reilly.
Oh, right. Okay.
Who is hilarious.
Yep.
It turns out, they tell this story in The Road to Redunction on Audible. John C. Reilly got in on the ground floor with Tenacious D.
Yeah.
He saw them in the 90s, before there was an album, before there was anything, and he loved them. And they became friends, and John C. Reilly evidently had this habit. He would dress up like Sasquatch and run around Silver Lake trying not to be seen.
My God.
Because his theory was, Sasquatch doesn't want to be seen.
Right.
So maybe somebody would if he tries not to be seen, somebody might see part of him and a legend might be born.
Yeah.
Tenacious D loved that thing that John C. Reilly claimed to really do.
Right.
And started working him into their live shows. And that's why
amazing.
He's in the movie. Because this is just something that John C. Reilly used to do.
Weird.
Dress like Sasquatch and try not to be seen.
Which is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get back together. They do break into the Rock and Roll History Museum. There are booby traps. Jack Black has to dance around lasers and then deactivate them with his wiener. They get the pick. They get out. And my favorite scene that I always remembered, even from my first viewing, happens. When they leave, John C. Reilly is there waiting for them because he basically just used them to get in so that he could get the pick back. And he confronts them and he says, "Give me the pick or I'll stab you." And they say, "No, we will not give you the pick." And he goes, "Very well." He's got one leg. He can't really move very well. He goes, "Then come over here. I'm going to stab you." And Kyle Gass goes, "What?" And Jack Black just goes, No, I'm not coming over there." And they realize that they can probably outrun him, and they just walk away. And he's like, "What? Get back here!" And the police show up, and they think that he robbed the history museum.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You'll have to catch me first." And he starts hobbling away, and a police officer comes up and just takes him by the arm, like Grandpa.
Yeah.
Wanders him away. He's like, "Damn it." I always love that.
Bested again.
"Come over here. I'm going to stab you."
Yeah.
No, we're not coming over there.
We won't.
It's great. All right. They have a big chase. They escape into the sewers. When they resurface, they're at the open mic night.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. But going in to finally use their pick to become the greatest band of all time, like all these legends who use the pick of destiny, they argue over who gets to use it. And the pick splits in half.
Oh my God.
Paul F. Tompkins, the host, comes outside and sees the pick broken on the ground. And he says, "Guys, you don't need some pick to be the greatest band. You don't need some magic of Satan. Satan's inside all of us.
That's right.
He's inside of you. He's inside of me. He's what makes us not want to go to work, exercise, or tell the truth." Explains that Satan lives here.
That's nice.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's funny.
They're convinced that they can play the show without the pick, and they go inside, while Paul F. Tompkins picks up the two pieces and relishes the moment.
A little too much, maybe.
Tenacious D realizes they could probably each use half the pick.
Yeah.
And they come back outside just in time to see Paul F. Tompkins transform.
My God.
Into Satan, into Beelzebub. There's a big duel where they say, basically the devil's like, "I'm complete now.
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy everything. I'll start with the two of you."
Right.
And Jack Black says, "No, we challenge you to a rock-off. If we win, you must take your sorry ass back to hell. And also, you will have to pay our rent."
Yeah.
A lot of the Tenacious D video stuff is all about them trying to pay their rent.
That's right.
And then he goes, "But what if I win? Then you can take Cage back to hell."
So
Jack Black offers Kyle Gass to the devil.
Yeah.
And then
Kyle's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "It's the only way."
It's the only way.
It's so funny.
So they have their rock off, and the devil says, "I'm the devil. I love metal. Check this lick. It's really tasty. I'm the devil. I can do what I want. Whatever I've got, I'm going to flaunt. There's never been a rock off that I've ever lost. I can't wait to take Cage back to hell. I'm going to fill him with my hot demon gel." Right. All right. So.
All right.
Now it's Tenacious D's turn. But Kyle Gass is concerned that maybe
they're in over their heads.
Yes. "There's just no way that we can win. That was a masterpiece. Yeah. He rocks too hard because he's not a mortal man." Yeah. But Jack Black convinces him that they have to try. Right. And they do. And they write a devil destroyer. "Hey, Antichrista, Beelzebub, we know your weakness, our rocket sauce. We rock the Casbah and blow your mind. We will defeat you for all mankind. You hold the scepter, we hold the key. You are the devil, we are the D."
That's right.
And with the power of their incredible music, they win the rock off.
Yeah.
But unlike Tribute, the devil is not destroyed. The devil doesn't play fair, Kristen.
No.
And he says, "Oh, screw it. All right, Cage, you're coming with me." And he shoots a bolt of fire at Kyle Gass that Jack Black dives in front of. It ricochets off his guitar and rebounds upon the caster, severing one of the devil's horns.
So he's no longer complete.
He's no longer complete, and Jack Black thinks fast. Clutching the horn, he recites the words, "From whence you came, you shall remain until you are complete again." No! The devil gets sucked into a portal, and his final words echo out, "I'll get you, Tenacious D!"
Yep.
So Tenacious D, they didn't get to play the open mic night.
No.
They don't have the pick of destiny. but they go home knowing that they saved the world. Unfortunately, they can't remember the song.
Well,
in some sense, this film is the whole movie has been an origin for the song tribute.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. But kind of.
Only kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they're not hitchhiking down a long and lonesome road.
No.
Yeah.
And they didn't defeat the devil with that song.
Right.
Because the devil decided, screw it, I did lose, but I'm still going to take
I'm just
KG.
a little cheater.
There are two, or it's like Evil Dead where the continuity is a little bit messy.
Or Twin Peaks.
It could be explained in the future.
Yeah.
Who's to say? But they are sitting down to, quote, lay down a fresh, tasty jam when JB asks Rage Cage to bust out the BOD, the bong of destiny.
Oh.
They smoke marijuana.
I do not remember that.
From the devil's horn and blow out sparkly green smoke, hitting record and presumably making history as the greatest band on earth as credits roll. And perhaps the album they're making is the album that you just described.
Yes, perhaps.
Which is very conversational and talks about how they do need to pay rent and stuff. Now, I don't know, did you stick through the credits when you watched it? Last year?
I don't remember.
Because there is a post-credit scene still trying to record KG farts and JB asks to listen back to the tape.
No, I don't think that I heard that.
So that might be setting up.
What a loss.
So that might be setting something up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that'll come back.
Except the movie did very, very poorly.
Right. So
and what would come next was an album, Rise of the Phoenix, which is the comeback story album, which is actually really good, but I didn't listen to when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then I want to make a recommendation. They made something just a few years ago called Post-Apocalypto.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is, did you watch this? Did
we watched it togetger.
You and who? You and me?
Yeah.
I showed you some of it.
Oh,
it's like a very long thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, so you still have work to do.
Yeah.
You still have some work to do.
Apparently.
But it is another sort of like, it does feel like it could almost be a sequel to The Pick of Destiny.
Yeah.
Not in terms of theme. There's no like other MacGuffin relic.
That's like movie-ish
They
kind
do
of thing.
go on a big grandiose adventure.
Yeah.
The only difference is that it's animated one drawing at a time, drawn by Jack Black, and there's no... Technically, it's not animated.
That's really fun. Yeah.
Technically, it's a series of still images with them talking and singing on top of it. It's illustrated.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like watching a comic book somehow.
Yes. Yeah.
But it is very funny.
Yeah.
It does involve robots. There is Jack Black's son time travels from the future and is an old man. And also they fight Donald Trump Jr., who I believe the entire time is depicted as being naked from the waist down. So that's Post-Apocalypto. And right now, they're still going strong, Kristen.
Yeah.
It turns out Tenacious D is touring right now.
Yep.
One of their opening acts is a performer I saw on Instagram called Steel Beans.
Great.
He plays the guitar and drums and sings simultaneously. He's a one-man band.
Like Bert from Mary Poppins.
Yes, he's very much a modern Bert from Mary Poppins. I do think that there's a full other band, I guess, depending on the song. I'm not sure. But the point is, the D goes on.
They're still rocking. They also came out with a line of fiber bars, if anybody needs a little bit more of that in their diet.
Fiber Delish. Evidently, they are one wipers, it's advertised as.
That's right. Yep.
So
there you go.
So they're fine.
Yeah,
they're doing good.
They're doing great. Well, Will, thank you very much for going on that journey with me.
Thank you, Kristen. There's even more.
I know.
Believe it or not, there's more I'm not talking to you about right now.
Well, hold on to it for a future episode of Unused Research.
I will. Let me just give you a
Nope. Hold on to it.
They met. Nope. They met him. They met at Abraham Lincoln.
What? Oh my God.
But that's an adventure for another day.
Well, that's it. We hope you enjoyed that. As Will said, we're going to be at the Jersey Devil Fable Festival coming up in real time just next week. Yep. It's May 5th and 6th. May 6th is our live show, and you can go to jerseydevilfest.com to find out more information about it, and it's free. You can just show up, walk around, see a bunch of awesome vendors, and also see us.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, totally. You can also visit our Patreon at patreon.com/GTTUpod. You can check out Will's work at themythtraveler.com, and you can find both of us on social media. I am at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So, you know what? We're going to see you on Monday for a new Netherworld Dispatch.
Yep.
Then on Tuesday, I'm going to have a new Elder Things and Tell 'em Steve Dave, Will Rogers Radio Theater dropping.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Devil Fable Fest. Oh, we got so much good stuff in the works, everybody.
Absolutely.
So join the ecosystem. Have some fun at GTTUpod.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week for more mythical hard rockin' stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But until then, amigos, we must travel.
Back to the Netherworld, go we.
Ki